the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Come on in. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Shabbat shalom.
The Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went.
The 12 tribes of Israel.
So we be Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim, from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the islands of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulun from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Elder Ricard Shaw, the Gathering of Christ Church, here with our weekly Patreon update. Hope you all are doing well. Shabbat shalom to those throughout the four corners of the earth. Yes, the sun going down. Yes, I said my little prayer, and we're going right into Patreon. I'm sorry I'm a little late, okay? I just needed a little rest. I had to rest earlier. I wanted just to lay down and get myself some rest, but I didn't want to disappoint you, brothers and sisters. So I said, you know what, let me come on, even if it's for a few minutes, to give an update, to let you know everything is fine. And I have some serious information to actually convey. All right, come on in. It's not going to be too long, okay? I'm not going to stay too long today on Patreon, so bear with us. Bear with me. And be patient with me, brothers and sisters. Just work with me on the other side. And I'll make sure that we'll give more time for our Patreonies next Friday also, okay? First and foremost, I would like to say all praises be to the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashim Yeshaya, Warawak. I'm Elder Ricard Shaw of the Gathering of Christ Church. And yes, I hope you all are doing fine. And there's a lot going on in the earth right now. Okay, there's no way I could stay away with some of this information that I've come by, right? Now, for the Patreonies, for those, the loyal Patreon members, we're going to bring in an herbologist, an herb specialist, okay, to answer some questions, okay? To answer some serious questions in case you would like to get full control of your health and understand what herbs the Most High put in the earth to do so. Well, we have an expert who will be there to answer those questions in specific for about 30 minutes, okay? I said I was going to do it. Let's get it done, all right? Speaking of health, there's a lot of weird things going on out there. Weird things. I mean, brothers and sisters, it's anonymous, but there was a situation where brother was in a hospital. You know, he wasn't feeling too bad and went to get a checkup. Just went to get a normal checkup in the hospital, you know. They say his pressure was a little high, whatever the case is, or whatever. And eventually I was speaking to the brother. He sounded fine to me. And he said an Asian doctor came out of nowhere and stated that they wanted to put him in the IUC or whatever the case is. And I can tell that he was disturbed with the information, feeling better. A few IVs or whatever the case is, he started to feel a little better, and he wondered, why are you trying to put me in the ICU? Intensive care? I'm fine, look. And he said he experienced something that he'd never experienced before. He's like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. So, I'm not going to divulge the brother's name or location. I'm just giving you some of what I be experiencing in some of these phone calls. This was yesterday. The brother put on his clothes or whatever the case is, right? He proceeded to leave the hospital, going into the lobby. And the Asian doctor comes running behind him. You're going to die. You're going to die. Your organs are going to shut down. You got to get back into the hospital. And I followed up today and called the brother. He's perfectly fine. His organs are fine. His body's fine. I mean, I wonder what that was about. Right? So, I don't know. Some weird stuff has been going on, folks. Weird stuff. And it seems as if our people are on the bad end of some of this. I don't know, but just be careful. Just all I have to say is be careful out there. Yeah. You only get one of these, take full ownership of it. And the only thing I can think about is how many people have went into these places or whatever the case is without that mental fortitude and that spiritual fortitude to take ownership and have just done exactly what anyone else out there was telling them or whatever. I'm going to leave it there. But I have my own speculations on what possibly could have been there, but I'll leave that for another time. What they were doing, but I'll leave that for another time. But weird, eerie experience. I mean, it was even weird for him. He says he'd never seen anything like that before. I mean, where are we? Is this so-called America? Did you ever see a doctor come down in the lobby and with no decorum at all? Screaming at a person, get back into the bed? But I digress. Yeah, brothers and sisters. Yeah, I got my liquid ginger extract. This is some good stuff, folks. Liquid ginger extract. I kind of use this. It's got lemon and ginger in it. It's good for my throat. I was singing last night or whatever the case is, recording some stuff. It's quite healthy. I have this boy, and it does wonders for my throat, right? So if you singers out there, get this right here. This lemon herbal ginger extract. It works great for the throat. A lot of health benefits. I love it. Speaking of health benefits, I got a herbologist that'll be waiting on the other side to answer questions in case people have questions concerning, what herbs usually work for certain organs and all that the Most High created. Of course, this is their expertise. This is their wheelhouse. I'm a Bible man, but it's good to hear others who have that ancient, I would say that ancient historical information on how we were able to tend to our bodies in ancient times and live well over 100 years, without all this other stuff going on in the world today. Okay, I'm trying to speak guardedly, but we're going to have them on the other side for you loyal Patreon members, so get ready for that. Yeah, that's her texting right now. Okay. All right, that's her text. Okay. Let me let sister know that her name is Sister Crystal. She'll be on the other side. Let me let her know. Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and we'll be ready. All right, 5 minutes. Someone says, "Oh, Aunt B make ginger lemon jelly." Go on, girl. All right, but anyway, speaking of doctors and some weird stuff, folks. Brothers and sisters, do y'all remember this report I did last week? Do y'all remember this report? Speaking of some weird stuff, look at this. And of course, the lines will be open after I segue over. Okay, after I segue over to Patreon. All right. Let me know, do you all remember this, brothers and sisters, last week? This weird story. Now, don't forget, during the the pandemic, I said that after they began to open things up, we're gonna find ourselves witnessing a lot of weird, anomalous behavior. I said that. And I don't know if you all remember this, right? Let me play it. Last week,
the Secure Community Network has seen a 200.
Y'all remember this? I showed this last week.
Tonight, a woman faces charges after police say she crashed her car into a north side building with a Hebrew Israelite symbol on the front door.
IMPD says the woman told officers she did it on purpose.
WRTV's Rachel Wilkerson spoke to the owners of the building located near 35th and Keystone Avenue who claimed they were attacked.
Surveillance video from the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, or UPK, shows a car pulled into the parking lot Friday, stopped, and then moved forward. It stops recording as the owner says the woman reversed and crashed into the building. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police says the woman told officers she purposely did this because of a Hebrew Israelite symbol on the door and referenced her, quote, people back in Palestine.
So that's a common misconception that we are affiliated with them in any type of way, that our holy signet, that our holy shield, the shield of day of.
Okay, let me make it clear. This symbol right here has nothing to do with King David, okay? For those who don't know,
that our holy signet. That
for those who don't know, in the 90s, up into the early 2000s, I made it up into a non-shield general in the Israeli School of UPK, then the Israeli Church of UPK. So I have the knowledge of this doctrine where people are claiming that this symbol is the shield or star of David. It isn't. According to history, it's the star of Moloch. Okay? I'm outside of the political and religious side of it. This go into what you would call the seal of Solomon for Solomonic magic when Solomon began to go off. He began to go off and sleep with these witches of the Edomites and Egyptians. And he also was a part of what? Child sacrifice that led to the split between Israel and Judah. So this symbol has ancient history to it. Ancient, pagan, satanic history. So all due respect to this young man who is probably just repeating what he's been told. You can easily just Google Seal of Solomon. Google Star of Moloch, Star of Remphan, and this symbol comes up. In our current time, during the Rothschilds, when they built a red door, They built a red door in Jerusalem or Israel amongst the Rothschilds. This particular symbol was on the door of the Rothschilds, the red child, under Megan David, and initially or eventually under Megan David, they began to rename this the Star of David in our modern time, in our current times. Okay, that's where you get the name David attached to the symbol. It's under the Megan David. It has nothing to do with King David. Okay, it's history. That's all, just history. I have a lot of books back here. Okay, I even have the pagan Canaanite books, the gods of the Canaanites, and all of that to show you that the Star of David isn't what the world powers are telling you. So I just wanted to set the record straight. Stop calling this a signet for our people. But I digress. That's not the reason I'm going into the story, but I like to get the record straight historically going into some of this, okay?
Told officers she purposely did this because of a Hebrew Israelite symbol on the door and referenced her, quote, people back in Palestine.
So that's a common misconception that we are affiliated with them in any type of way, that our holy signet, that our holy shield, the shield of King David that represents Christ our King,
No, that does not represent Christ our King. Nowhere in the Bible is the Star of Moloch related to Christ. Okay?
associated with the Israeli or the Jewish population, which we have no affiliation with.
Kaposh says 4 children and a father were inside at the time of the...
Now, you notice they cut him off because he says, even though this is being touted as an anti-Semitic attack, that the Israeli Church of UPK have no affiliation with the Jewish people when it comes to that specific religion. What he's probably saying is the only commonality between the two is the fact that they both have a commonality with that particular symbol. Okay?
No one was injured, and the woman was charged with criminal recklessness. The FBI and Metro Police are investigating.
They're going to be looking for any federal nexus in terms of the crimes that were committed. They'll be working closely with local police to determine what's the appropriate level of prosecution.
Brad Swim is the...
See, now, what's more important, I believe, than the event in which no one was hurt? Thank the Most High, no one was hurt. What I feel the more important piece that we need to focus on is what this guy's saying right here. Not the event. Thank the Most High that no one was hurt. But we should more so focus on how they're seeking or what type of laws are going to be drafted on the federal level now that this has happened. Right? Because the laws that are going to be put in place is to protect who? The people from the Israeli Church of UPK? So we should be focusing on, all of a sudden, what he's saying, because this is what's going to affect us going forward. And then we're going to swing back and talk about this woman, this anomalous woman that no one wants to talk about anymore, but we found something.
We're going to be looking for any federal nexus in terms of the crimes that were committed.
Federal nexus. What type of federal nexus that we have in place for anti-Semitic actions against someone, right? Intentional acts of hate, because that's all we believe this is right now, right? Hold tight.
Working closely with local police to determine what's the appropriate level of prosecution.
Brad Swim is the region...
Because whatever they put in place is for the future, right? Well, let's go talk to this woman. Let's see what's going on with this woman real quick, if you will. Not talk to her, but let's see. I have something up here. Give me one moment. Computer's acting a little out right now. 1 second. 1 second here. One moment. And all of a sudden, the computer is just acting out. Right? 1 second. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. 1 second, folks. Don't worry about it. If you're on Patreon, folks, I'm going to use a different computer because obviously something is going on here. 1 second. All right. Okay, here it is. So, Elder Shaphat, followed up on this particular piece when it comes to this woman. I said, listen, we need to follow this woman. We need to figure out what's behind this so-called Palestinian woman, as the media framed it, who out of nowhere, under the cover of night, seen a Star of David on the side of a building, and a house turned church, and felt a need to target this particular building. I'll say this looks very, very suspicious, right? So what do we have here, folks? Let me pull it up, if it will allow me here. Here it is right here. Here it is. Check this out, folks. Woman. Now look at this. All this stuff is in the way. It's a bunch of crap. Hold on. Hey, folks, the computer is absolutely... Hold on, let me get it. This computer is wigging out too. Look at this. Woman who plowed car through Jewish building. Now we know this was an Israeli Church of UPK building, but they have pivoted. Woman who plowed car through Jewish building was in drug-induced episode. Remember I said we need to look into this? Whether or not this was an institutionalized situation, because when I look into Project Paperclip and all these other weird, medical scenarios that happened after World War I and World War II, and under Project Paperclip, a lot of those scientists, those psych scientists, began to operate within the United States, right? And these people like. Others like, I think Kanye mentioned like there was some weird guy who was doing some things with him or whatever the case is, but I digress. When it comes to the mental side of things. Woman who plowed car through Jewish building was in a drug-induced episode and doesn't remember attack. Doesn't remember attack? Of course she was, driven emotionally for the protection of her people, understanding what's going on over there in the Middle East. So why, you think that this would be an event that she would forget if she intentionally ran into a building? Folks, what's really going on here? Where did she come from? Where did she come from? Huh? And what are they putting, what are they drafted in law because of this incident within the United States? And how will they tie that eventually to turning around and coming against groups such as that? I'm just going to pose a question. Not from any group or people in particular. Were they sending out subtle, I would say, warnings of what to prepare for or what to expect in the future? Like things like this, where a person pops out of nowhere who don't even remember what she did. Was that a shot? Was that one of the first shots over the barrel to say, listen, we can put hands on you? You know, now there's not much I can say on this side, but I'm definitely going to talk on the Patreon side, because laws are being drafted in place where it's shifted from UPK to something that protects another group of people, where federal law is being drafted and that's going to make it even, more protection, which leads to, hey, if for more protection, I'm going to need more finances to be protected. And nothing for the people who are actually attacked. And then on top of that, laws are being drafted and all that. And on top of that, guess what? It also says that what? Listen to me clearly. Look at this. She don't even remember it happening, folks. But check this out. Check out what they're drafted in finances because of this. Schumer wants $1.2 billion in security funding for U.S. religious groups. Intolerance has reached a boiling point. $1.2 billion because of what just happened that goes in the coffers of those who are being attacked. You talk about killing about 3-4 birds with one stone, but I digress. That's all I can say on this side. That's all I can say on this side. But hey, something is being funded in the United States. And I don't believe those funds are for the religions such as those who believe that our people are the lost tribes of Israel. Let me put it that way. Hey, folks, it's about to, like my son say, it's about to get popping out here. When you look at MK Ultra, when you look at all of these other things, why they want the earth in a drug-induced state as a form of control, a lot of these German testing that came out of World War I and World War II, mind control and all these others. And then when you look at some of the stuff people have in them every day, believing that it's probably protecting them or whatever, could this be a part of the controlling mechanism I said that we would experience once things open back up? I'm just saying. Folks. Well, that's all I have for you right now, folks. I have to give my Patreon members some time. So from 5 to 6, we'll be doing Patreon. Right now, I'm going to go over to Patreon, answer a few health questions, and continue this conversation to see where this goes. All I have to say is this. Brothers and sisters that are on the street teaching, be very, very careful. Because I don't believe it's going to be the enemy that's going to come and cause certain provocations or issues outright. I believe that a lot of these so-called, with probably these psych jobs that are being prepared for this moment as front people could be the ones who deal with the provocation with Israelites on the street, claiming that what? Mistaken identity. Claiming mistaken identity. Claiming that these are Israelis who are against killing my Palestinian people, and now I must retaliate. And since I can't get to these other people, I can conveniently get to these guys with the same 6-pointed star in front of their religious teachings. They have set the stage, folks. They have set the stage to understand what's coming when it comes to provocations. They can actually get some of these people who could be like, who knows, nut jobs to do their dirty work. So, all right. So we'll be right back. I'm bringing Crystal on for health questions. Hold tight. On Patreon, we coming over. Come to Patreon. Patreon.com/AGathering144. Let's continue this conversation on the other side. Shalom.